Hello everyone, welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Special episode today. I've got my man Anthony from Inter Worldwide, all the way from Sydney, Australia. If you don't know, now you know. One of the guys that I started this YouTube journey with. Welcome Anthony to the channel.
Thanks for having me, my brother, my OG, Uncle Sharma, Zio, ciao, buongiorno, and yeah, looking forward to having a nice little chat and maybe embarrassing ourselves a little bit with our knowledge of Inter past and present.
Yeah, so today's a little bit of a different episode. We're doing a quiz that we can find on the Sporcle. I'll leave the link in the description below that you can play as well. You should probably try it just before we start so you can see what kind of score you get compared to ours. As Anthony said, it might be embarrassing, two guys that kind of talk about Inter a lot, and if we don't get a good score on this, we might lose some subscribers. But no, I think it'll be good fun. So it's can you name the Inter Milan 11s from 2000, 2001 to 2018 and 19? So almost 20 years being covered there in the Inter knowledge. So let's see how we do. Are you ready, Anthony, to get started and get cracking?
I'm ready to give it a go, man. It's us two. It's two Inter YouTubers against the computer, man, or against the quiz. Surely we can do okay.
Do you want to quickly talk about, Inter Worldwide for the people that have been living under a rock?
Oh, sure. Just quickly. Well, if for anyone who wants to check it out, we've got our own channel and website called Inter Worldwide, and we try to keep up and publish as much of the authentic Inter news as possible with some special writing pieces. And of course, we've got a podcast as well with many, many respected guests that come on from here and there, and some regulars. We try to connect as many English-speaking Interesti around the world as many other great outlets do as well. So culture's on the move, and I'm just happy to be involved with it, to be honest, because that's what it's all about, building good relationships in the world of culture.
Definitely, man. Yeah, it's a good channel. Definitely recommend you guys subscribe to it. I'll leave the link for that one in the description as well, or in the comments. And their intro is so good. Your new intro, I have to shout it out. The Inter Worldwide.
I was on Summer's ass for ages to make it, and then he finally did. I'm like, I told you, man, it's funny.
The Step Brothers inspired. He got bonus points for that. Me and Anthony have chosen the tactic of going from recent squads to working backwards. So let's see how we do. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, let's go. Right, starting off 2018-19.
Handanovic, put him in.
Yeah, he's coming in many squads there. Back to
all right, are we going? How many defenders?
So there's it looks like it's the 3-5-2 for this year's season, the Conte special.
Conte special. Okay, so last year our most prominent defenders are Skriniar,
Rai.
And I guess it's a toss-up between D'Ambrosio and Asamoah, but I'd probably choose D'Ambrosio, to be honest.
Yeah, D'Ambrosio. There he is, Danilo D'Ambrosio, Lord.
Five-man midfield, Radja goes in there, Brozovic goes in there.
Vecino.
And then with the Candreva, I guess you'd put him as the wide right midfielder, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, no, he's not in the 2018-19.
Okay, well then 2018-19, the other midfielders you probably go with Perisic, I would say maybe Gagliardini.
Ooh. Let's see. Oh, no, season before.
He makes up the other ones.
So we've got some winger. Oh, it might be Politano, maybe.
Politano for sure. Right Icardi in while you're still there, obviously.
Oh. Wow, he goes back to all the way 2014.
Yeah. It's good that we're filling up this section early. João Miranda obviously is a starter for many years. If you want to type in Cancelo, he might rock up in 2017-18. Yep, there you go. HC, head coach. All right, cool. All right, well, let's just go backwards. Spalletti. Mazzari after Mancini. Yep, good stuff. There's one in the middle there that missed out.
Pioli?
De Boer was the start of that season. Type that in.
Oh, yeah, it seems like they didn't count. They thought he was so bad that they didn't even count him.
They didn't count him. He was the starting coach of the season. They didn't count him. That's hilarious.
João Mario. Yeah.
Type in Asamoah. That's got to be the last midfielder for last season. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Nice one. So we've got the last 2 seasons done and dusted.
You need to get some Balkans in there, like Jovetic, like Jajic.
Oh, yes,
that'll
yes.
fill up some spots.
The
Kondogbia will
United
fill up a
States
spot
of
in that
Balkans,
season.
Yugoslavia.
Yeah, get Kondogbia in there. Get Jason Murillo in there.
Kondogbia, Murillo, yes.
Now it's
I wonder if they've got Chana Erkin in there.
maybe. I'm thinking of midfielders now. We've missed a couple of midfielders. Go with Gary Medel or Felipe Melo.
Medel.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, no Coutinho.
Damn. Kovacic.
Yeah,
Zanetti.
Zanetti was covering off every single squad now, yeah.
All right.
But you can see how he's on different positions every year, Mr. Reliable.
Yeah. Some starting forwards to fill up some spots. Palacio.
Rodrigo Palacio. Ricky Alvarez, maybe.
Alvarez. What about Jajic? Did you type in Jajic? LJAC. No.
No, he wasn't really a starter. I think they must have done it by, like, I don't know, most starts in that season or something.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go back. Nagatomo, maybe?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Maicon, no Pandev?
No Pandev, Cambiasso.
Maicon, Cambiasso, Cordoba, Kivu.
Samuel.
Materazzi.
Lucio.
Samuel. Julius Caesar.
I got Samuel. Maxwell. Who's the defender from 2016, man, that we haven't got?
Where's that? Oh, I missed that. Oh, crap.
There's one defender, there's a left back. Or maybe right back.
Erkin, Teles, Martin Montoya.
Oh, what's his name? The guy that plays at Torino now.
Oh, Ansaldi.
Maybe. Yeah, it is.
I'm expecting you to take control of the Pazzari season, bro.
Oh, Vidic is there. Wow. Oh, my days.
What are we missing in, like?
Oh, Hernandez.
Yeah, nice one. I missed that. What about Quaresma?
Oh, Freddy Guarin, man, my guy.
What about Quaresma? I want to see if Quaresma gets in there for Mario.
Oh, just for Mario. Oh, no, Quaresma.
He doesn't get in, suck shit. Maybe Amatino Mancini gets in over him.
Sorry, you voice. Yeah, Figo. Let's finish 14-15, that one defender again. We keep...
Did we say Campagnaro?
Yeah, Campagnaro, he came in the season before. Is it the Mancini season, I think?
Anyway, let's fill the goalkeeper slots. Julio Cesar needs to be filled. And Toldo as well.
Yeah, got Toldo.
Yeah.
Who was the keeper in 2001?
Frey.
Oh, yeah. And the coach was Hector Cooper. We had coach.
Nice one. Marcello Lippi's got to be the coach of 2000.
What?
Oh, he's not. Nah, come on. He was the coach of that season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
But he was sacked in like November or December or January.
The thing they've done is like the person with the most appearances.
Oh, crap. I don't know the caretaker's name, so I won't be able to get that.
Oh, so that one might be the one that gets left blank.
Yeah. Cannavaro might be in there somewhere.
Yeah, Cannavaro. Oh yeah, we had let's try maybe some of the Milan players that went over, like Seedorf. Oh, no Seedorf. What about Pirlo?
Nah, no way. All right, cool. We forgot Ronaldo. Did you put Ronaldo? I see. That's how you know shit's rigged. What's going on there? But I guess he left 2002.
After 2000,
been injured.
Now
injured. So we're missing forwards as well and midfielders. Why are we struggling so bad with midfielders? Type in for defenders, Laurent Blanc.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. He should be at least 2000. Yeah, so he's there for 2001.
What are we missing? See, this is before. Like I started following around properly like 2003.
What about Badger? Damn.
Oh, did you say Baggio?
Yeah.
No, but try Dibiagio.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for that. You triggered that one. Now that I've hit that era, Coco has got to be in there somewhere as a starting midfielder. Yeah, midfield on paper really good, on pitch hella weak.
Yeah, we've only got one midfielder from 2002 left. We've done well for that team.
That goes to show our lack of quality midfielders. Did you say Seedorf?
Yeah, I tried Seedorf.
Did Edgar Davids ever start more games than he was benched in a season?
No.
Let's look at the years, maybe. So how are we missing people from 2009-10? You got Cambiasso, Thiago Motta.
Stefan Dalmat.
Yeah. Put Thiago Motta in there.
Yeah, there we go.
And
yeah, let's finish off the 2009-10. So that should be maybe Stankovic.
Just like everywhere, he lights it all up.
Yeah, coach for 2011, Leonardo. There you go.
Yeah.
Coach for the season after, is it Ranieri?
Yeah, nice.
And then the season after that, coach was, is it Saccioni?
No, I quit. The Starmer was. Oh yeah, there you go. Got to back myself more. 2011 and 12, we're missing a forward. It can't be Forlan, Zarate.
Yeah, Forlan. Yeah, there you go. Diego Forlan. Nice one. It's escaping me now. Under pressure. Oh wow, we've got 7 minutes left. The time goes quick.
No, I think we've done well. Like we're only missing average 1 or 2 players in each squad, so we should be able to fill it. Let's work backwards again. 2014-15, we're missing a defender. What the hell? What about Alvaro Pereira? No matter how shit he was. If he is, I'm not gonna like myself. You got to spell. I think it's double R.
14.
Jonathan, did you write Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan. He's in the season before. Dodo. Yeah.
That's fluky as. Make sure you highlight that as a special. That's
wow. He's just as rare as a real Dodo. So who's the defender from the season before that we're missing then? It seems like it's a centre back. Because it's João Jesus and then Campagnaro.
Nah, wait, type in Andreoli.
No. Yeah, he was backup for like his whole career.
Yeah. What about Kili Gonzalez? No. I think it's double L. Yes, no, that was one. Yeah, cool. 2003-4.
What about Van der Meijden? So we've got one defender from that season, from both of those seasons.
Did Emre start any games? Oh, yeah. No. We can get this.
So for me, before 2006, it gets because that's when I really started.
It gets hazy. It gets real hazy for me too. Yeah. So I'm happy with what we've got. We're missing an obvious forward here because one thing we should be good at is getting the forwards. Write all the forwards down. Batistuta. Did you write Batistuta?
No. He wasn't really a starter, was he?
No, I know he wasn't, but he came on loan. Maybe he started enough games. That forward role is going to.
Ventola, maybe. Oh, actually.
I was going to say, imagine that.
Eric Tahir.
Oh, dude. No. It's Deva Shuka in that first year.
Oh, yeah. That was Shuka.
No, AR. Damn it. Really thought I had that first.
I'm going to kick ourselves for this one. So this is after
go up to the... Are we missing any defenders? Go up again.
Yeah, we're missing...
What about Maxwell and Grosso? Try those two. They just came to
Grosso.
In that stupid one season after he won the World Cup.
It's hard, like when you're thinking under pressure. It's like normally we'd probably like reel these names off, but it's just like.
I think but I'm impressed with our efforts so far. It's just like you can tell the 2000s to 2001 is just really hard.
Yeah, that's like going real further back.
What about Simic?
Till the last minute. We've only got a minute left. We might as well just give it a go now.
Try Simic. Simic.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. Oh no. Yeah. What was that bloody the Gatos Karagounis, was it? Oh, no.
Karagounis, yeah. I'm telling you, man, we've probably got a couple right. Just haven't spelt them correctly.
Yeah, probably. And there'll be probably some of them where we'll kick ourselves.
Yeah.
Definitely that 2006 one will be like, oh, that's so easy.
It's so obvious. It's right in front of our faces and we can't get it. Same with with a couple of these defenders as well from 2004 to 2005.
Yeah. We'll just like shout some names out now. Random names.
That's what I've been doing. I've been shouting names. That's all I've got.
Well, this is as much as we got, boys.
It's not Dalberto Carlos was later.
Oh, Rolando. That's who it was.
Oh man, I swear we said Gargano, man, at one point. Gargano, and you said Vieira as well. You said Vieira.
Yeah, I typed it in. Like I tried all the different.
And we said Shuka. Don't forget that. We got that. It's just that the abbreviation.
It's got the fancy U's on the.
Yeah. But like I'll claim those other ones we didn't get close to. Ferrari, Jugovic. I don't even know who that is.
Daniele Adani. Zaccheroni, that was the coach. Yeah. Damn it.
There you go. We should have got Favalli. Spewing.
Yeah, that's quite dark.
Bro, it's easy to forget Rolando, man. That's an easy one to forget.
Yeah, he was so underrated though. I really liked him.
He was, yeah. He was one of the guys we should have redeemed, but we never did because we were tight asses.
I know, he was so cheap as well.
I think our scores are right. Hey, 93%. Fist bump. That's it. For sure.
Yeah, well, I think both of us together, we've covered off from 2008, 2012, we've covered it all off. 2016, 2019, we've covered it all off.
I'm pretty happy with that, man. I'm not embarrassed like I feared I was gonna be.
So yeah, let's talk about some of these squads there. Like starting off with the one that obviously we did the worst with, 2000, 2001. It looks like we've got a good defense there. Like, Fry, used to be a good keeper. Laurent Blanc, world-class French defender. Cordoba, Zanetti. Don't really remember Matteo Ferrari too much, but after that, it seems like a bit of a mismatch, like very unbalanced. Don't you think?
It's a decent team, bro. It's almost hard to forget that we finished 5th that season, a good maybe like 17 points off the pace. So just like many other seasons, man, a squad that looks good on paper. But even looking at it now, I can already tell, looking at this squad from 2000 to about 2003, 4, it was nowhere near built to challenge that Juve or Milan team on paper from 2000 to 2003, 4.
There was always weaknesses, wasn't there, in the team?
Inconsistencies in the starting 11, like with Milan's team from that era, and even Juve's to an extent. You can really bank on 7 or 8 of those starting 11 starting week in, week out, developing that core identity within the team, and that means a lot.
Yeah, especially I think with Moratti, I was talking about it with someone the other day. He just he really spent a lot of money on the striking department on big names, but then he didn't really seem to care much about the defense.
I like the 2005, 2006 team, man. The team that basically took advantage of the rest of the footballing economy and just said, okay, the time is now, window shopper.
Yeah, apart from like Favalli there, like I can't really see like a weak spot in the team there. Like, very strong teams there.
Absolutely, man. I remember talking about this on one of my podcasts with Christian and Mario, having Patrick Vieira, who was still able to give you 110% of himself. He often would only need to give 30 minutes, 25 minutes. When you have a player like Patrick Vieira coming in for 25 minutes, like, I hope you're not a fatigued midfielder for that last 25 minutes, man, because that's not going to be enjoyable at all.
No. And that's the progression that you see there in the team is like the team is not getting weaker in any sport, it's getting stronger and stronger in each year.
It gets a huge injection of quality around that mark.
Yeah, so you see there like Adriano, Ibrahimovic comes in for Adriano, Crespo comes in for Martins. Like, wow, that's the moves that we need to be making. When we're buying players from the Juventus and better teams. That's
exactly right.
Stacked, and then we go to 2008, 2009. That's when it starts to get world class in every single position. And then obviously we move up to the 2009, 2010, the treble winning team.
I really like I like that you got Sully Montari for the 2008, 2009 role, because man, he wasn't here for a long time. He was here for a good time, and that's exactly what he did. And he actually became a little bit of an enemy by the end of it. But Sully Montari's grit, and I used to just love his relationship with Jose Mourinho. He was like a pit bull out of the cage kind of thing, but around Mourinho, it was like, yes, boss.
Yeah, he was like, it's definitely one of those players that Mourinho loved more than the fans did. It was like,
Absolutely.
If you ask the fans,
Mourinho had that special bond with so many of his players in his prime of his coaching career.
Yeah, like if you would ask the fans for a starting 11, most of them wouldn't put Montari in. But if you ask Mourinho, he'd put Montari in there.
For sure, he would. Absolutely, he would.
And then with obviously after 2010, the downfall begins.
As we all call it, the banter era. The era that was just embarrassing to be alive in, to be honest.
But to be fair, I mean, 2010-11, the team is still there, but it just seems like, obviously players are coming out of their peak era, and you know some of the motivation obviously goes. Rafa Benitez came in. And yeah, just
Well,
like
we won the Coppa Italia that season, didn't we?
yeah, we won the Coppa Italia. We came, I think, did we come second or third?
We came second, but I just remember like there was just an ill feeling, and it really was the personalities, like the Maicons, Zanettis, Cambiasos, Milito, like that whole team carried us forward. If we didn't have such a strong team of such strong leaders and personalities, we would have dipped even further, I feel. Some of these players played their last real game of football the night they beat Bayern Munich 2-0. And I don't mean to sound real disrespectful when I say that, but to a certain degree, you have to acknowledge the emotions that were surrendered that night for some of these players. Some of these players would rock up to every game after 2010 with a smile on their face and still go home at the end of the night with a smile on their face. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I think that's a lot of, you know, in the Marathi era, there was a lot of like, what would you say, like gratefulness, but almost to like a fault, because, you know, it would be like, okay, yeah, these players are the ones that won the treble, but it doesn't mean that, you know, we have to play these players every single game. Like we need to move on from the likes of Cambiasso.
Exactly. A lot of fans will argue that the season after we won the treble, we should have sold 3 or 4 of those players, and then we should have sold the other 3 or 4 the season after. But hindsight is 2020, and how do you win a treble until players like Esteban Cambiasso, Diego Milito, and God forbid any other players as well, that it's time to move on? We're not that kind of club. Other clubs do that kind of shit, but we won't say that now. That's for another time. But we've never really been that sort of club to do that. And I guess if we had to take a hit in that sense, we had to. A lot of things didn't go right post 2010 up until now, but we lived through it and we came out of it. We're still young, bro, so we'll see some glory, man. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, it was like, it's just sad at some points. I remember Cambiasso being substituted. I think maybe either 2012 or 2013 that he got subbed and he was like crying because he was getting booed by the Meazza crowd. So that was really sad to see, like,
ugly,
you know, when something like that happens.
Football fans are some of the most fickle human beings you'll meet in the whole world. And it's really, really bad, man, because I remember when that was happening, and even in my head, I'm like, Cambiasso needs to move on, but I would never, ever, even if I was there, bring myself to boo a player who had done so much for us.
The Meazza
Booing
crowd
players in general is,
the Meazza crowd can be very brutal. You know, we're definitely one of the best fans in the world in terms of supporting, being there, but then we also, the Meazza crowd really turn on the players really quickly. You know, Brozovic is a prime example, you know, one of the players, you know, I'm jumping a few squads there, but it just comes to me like, you know, one of the players that was being booed. He even did the sarcastic clap to the crowd. But then Spalletti
somehow, he was meant to go to Sevilla that season, and man, had he gone to Sevilla if he went to Sevilla that January, bro, we wouldn't even be here right now, because we wouldn't have made UCL that season and would have trickled a domino effect that would have had us as bad as Milan at the moment. That's for sure.
That's one of the things that, you know, Spalletti deserves big credit for. Is literally, he was almost on the plane to Sevilla and he managed to, you know, he was already a player that struggled with motivation, with his body language, but he managed to somehow turn him into this focused individual that obviously the birth of his daughter also helped. That always helps a footballer to focus yourself, but Spalletti deserves big credit for that.
Spalletti deserves credit for a lot of things, bro, and just for anyone that does check out Into Worldwide, just look at some of my past videos to know how much criticism I gave him in the past. And I'll hold my hand up and say, oh, man, you are making some horrible decisions there. But now I look back and I just look at it and go, oh, man, this guy's making the best out of the tools that are in his work shed. And getting us to the Champions League, as painful as it was for those 2 seasons, and no one suffered more than Luciano Spalletti. You think we had it hard at home watching that, man? I don't know how he did it, bro. And after facing all of the sad personal news that he had to face in the week or so prior to the last game with Empoli, I'll always tip my hat to Luciano Spalletti. He's got my gratitude forever.
Yeah, I really rate him. Like he's took a year out and he's started his own wine business. He's like in the countryside of Florence. You know, he deserves it.
I don't think you could tempt him with a job offer at the moment. He strikes me like one of the football managers who's okay with quitting for a bit and going, I'm all right.
Yeah, Milan tried. Remember, like after they sacked what was his name, Gianpaolo, and Spalletti was like, "Nah, I'm happy getting the wages that I'm still getting from Inter."
Yeah, I know. Cheers, bro. We miss you too.
Let's look at like some of the peak banter era squads, like 2013. We got Walter Gargano in there. Ranocchia, João Jesus starting, like that's just that should never be.
Ricardo Alvarez has to be the slowest, thin, athletic-looking Argentine I've ever seen in my life, man. Like he looks the full package, bro. I'm like, hey, look at this guy. He's really good, and everybody looks good on their YouTube compilations, man. I reckon I could look good on a YouTube compilation, and I don't play. So it was bad, bro, because he got there, and I had really high hopes for Ricky Alvarez.
I liked him when he was moved to centre midfielder. When Mazzarri moved him back to like centre midfield, I quite liked him, and I thought he could have been a useful player. But Sunderland came in.
As a left-hand sided midfielder trying to support the attack, he was as weak as it got for us, and it was very disappointing. I got to hold my hand up and say I'm a huge Rodrigo Palacio fan, bro. He is a gentleman, and if he wanted to come back and play for Inter right now at 35 years old, maybe really cheap, like we're talking 20k, 30k a week, I don't know. But I'd take him back, bro, because
man, this guy was literally
he represents the shining light in the darkest day.
Definitely, man. Yeah, good shout out to Palacio, man. The rat tail god. Then we move on to like 2015, 16. We've got like the Yugoslavia, as we were saying earlier, and there got Jovetic, Perisic, Ljajic. That team. On paper, it was a good team, but again, like we finished fourth that year.
We started the season very well. It was another example of the team being very good on paper. I remember, Raul, when this season started, this is the first season after 2010 that I said to myself, all right, let's have a crack. Let's see what we can do with this, because that looked really good to me. And I'm surprised Ljajic didn't make it into one of these teams, because Ljajic for me was a bit of a gem. His attitude sucked, but that never stopped us in the past, and it really didn't stop us after him either. So Adam Ljajic for me, I definitely would have kept him around, because his versatility on that hand side, he was everything Ricardo Alvarez should have been on the left hand side. And I found him to be very unappreciated. I think because he was one of the guys that displayed a little bit of attitude. There's also a lot of fans that think there was a little bit of separation in the dressing room in that season between the Balkan gang and the Icardi and his loyal minions. And I think that's when it all popped off 2 years afterwards. The hangover from that season, and Spalletti had to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, Ljajic was like a set-piece specialist as well. That's something that we've been lacking in the team for like years and years and years.
He was directly involved in like a goal every game for the first 13, 14 games of the season. He was, whether it was not assisting, scoring, he was a focal point. He was always involved, and that's something I noticed.
Yeah, but his mentality wasn't really there, as you see, like from the rest of his career. He just, he's not really made out for big pressure situations. Then moving on to where things start to slowly move up. Well, actually, we had a blip again in 2016. When things went to shit all once again. We spent a lot of money that year, like João Mario, 40 million on João Mario.
That season can just be summarized in the two words: bad transfers, bad business, very bad.
That's the Gabigol. That's the Gabigol, yeah.
That's our worst financial season I've seen for a long time, bro. That was very bad.
Yeah, because we were literally, we finished fourth the season before. We have Mancini. We're ready to go into the next season, improve. And then Mancini leaves, and everything just falls to bits. And we still spend money for some reason. We have De Boer there. I don't know. It was just a complete mess.
Just looking at the team, you can tell the entire midfield, the entire midfield pretty much changes that season from the season before. There's no Brozovic and there's no Kondogbia who are starting consistently. João Mario integrates himself there very poorly. Like, I'm looking at that midfield right now, man, and where's it supposed to come from? Where's the creativity supposed to come from? I guess you'd say João Mario was meant to be that player because he's what's called an international tournament signing. Look, he performed well for 3 games against really shitty international teams. Let's sign him for 40 million. I remember when James Rodriguez got signed for 80 million for Real Madrid. I'm like, all right, cool. He sort of scored a few clutch goals against, who was it? Greece, the Ivory Coast, Japan? Not sure. But yeah, that's what João Mario represents to me, is an international tournament signing.
Yeah, literally. And it just never worked out. But then luckily, Spalletti came in the next 2 seasons. And we returned to Champions League football after a long break. We finally heard that music once again. On paper, that team, if you compare it to the previous teams, it's not particularly superior to the previous teams if you look at it on paper.
Right. It's coached with a coach that came in with a very clear identity of what he wanted to do and accomplish.
Yeah, the 4-2-3-1 all death.
Yeah, that's it, man. As you called it very famously, cross and inshallah, and I loved it, man. Candy can drive it to Icardi. 60% of the time, it works every time. Whatever you want to call it, man.
Yeah.
But the thing about Pioli and Spalletti is they strike me as similar coaching personalities in a sense that they're also there for a temporary time to steer the ship. It's just that Spalletti's longevity is 5 times longer and more efficient than Pioli. Pioli is the most watered down version. He's the most non-alcoholic version of Spalletti you can get.
Yeah, they both love the 4-2-3-1.
They love it, bro. They live for the 4-2-3-1. That double pivot or death, bro. And you can't play a double pivot with Matias Vecino and Roberto Gagliardini. You can't. Sorry.
No. But yeah, that's a very interesting episode of probably a bit longer than I expected, but it's been very interesting chat with you, Anthony, almost like a little podcast. Yeah, man.
And I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the names that we got, man. I thought there was going to be so many gaps everywhere. I'm like, oh, we look horrible. But we look
yeah, we definitely deserve a like for our knowledge there. Leave a like, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also Anthony's if you haven't into Worldwide. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you tried the quiz and tell us what score you got. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care, everyone. As always, Forza Inter.
Ciao.